Greetings from Cybertron. This is SoundJack here with another episode of SoundJack's Rambles. And today I'm joined by Alyssa.
Hey, howdy, hey.
Eric.
Howdy, hey, howdy.
And Miguel.
There's a snake in my boot.
You don't even wear boots.
How do you know? You've never seen his feet.
You caught
I
me. You
have.
caught me, Sheriff. I'm barefoot right now.
Well, I haven't seen his bare feet, but I have seen his feet. Like,
I have to go to liar jail.
Yeah.
Yes, the infamous liar
Yeah,
jail.
I had forgotten about TFCon and that you actually saw him in person, and then I'm like, darn it.
Wow,
I was
how
never
could you
barefoot
forget?
at
How could you
TFCon. What are you
forget the
talking
event
about?
that
No,
we
I'm
all
just saying,
got
like, you've
together
never,
at? You're so
like,
terrible.
if Eric never saw you in person at TFCon, he would never have seen the lower half of your body that includes your feet. So for all he could have known, you've just always been wearing boots.
For all you could have known, maybe Miguel sends me pictures of his shoes every day. He's just like, hey, these are the shoes I'm wearing
That's
today.
fair. That is fair.
weird.
That
It's
is
just our
assumption
thing.
I apologize.
Oh my god.
But anywho, we're here to talk about the first season, or as they call it, the first chapter of Transformers Cyberverse.
Ooh.
But before we get into that, I just want to give a quick shout out to @TheDerriere on Twitter, who did the artwork that you saw in the intro. Just
Yes, the picture.
I'm a robo-burb.
Bird.
You can't see my face, but I'm like really grinning.
I'm sorry.
Well, I hope you like that artwork, because you're going to be seeing that in front of the SoundJack's Rambles every single time now, though at some point it's actually going to be properly edited into a full intro that I want to get made along with actual music underneath, because it's been very quiet in my intros for over a year now, and that should change.
So yeah,
Just
big
record
changes
yourself
coming to
a cappella.
SoundJack's Rambles. What?
Yes.
Record yourself a cappella for an intro, I dare you.
No, I do not do dares, you crazy person.
No.
Anyway.
No. That's Batman. I don't know why I was doing that.
Anyway, Cyberverse, the newest Transformers cartoon, aired on the Cartoon Network and is also just free
It's
to
not the
watch.
newest, you liar.
What's the newest?
Rescue Bots Academy.
Oh, right, I forgot. Sorry, second newest cartoon. We should talk about Rescue Bots Academy at some point, but I don't think it's as easy to access as Cyberverse is.
Is the season done yet?
No, I mean, like, I just haven't seen the episodes pop up anywhere. Maybe they're on the Cartoon Network
I need to
website.
watch regular Rescue Bots and then watch Rescue Bots Academy also.
Regular Rescue Bots should be on Netflix.
Oh, that's convenient.
I think at least it was.
How much
I don't
is
know
there
if
to
it's-
watch?
It's the longest running cartoon series
Aw,
of
crap.
Transformers ever. It's 104 episodes
Oh crap!
over 4 seasons.
Wait, how long are their episodes though? Are their episodes full half hour or are they
Full
Dang
half
it.
hour.
Dang it! Okay, I have a lot to get through apparently.
Wow.
Yes.
That is quite a bit. And that it's not like Netflix seasons where it's only like 13 episodes long or
Like
whatever.
I said, it is literally the longest running cartoon series of Transformers ever, even
Yeah.
beating out the G1 cartoon that had 98.
Which is awesome. Which, in all honesty, makes it so I really should watch it. So
Yes. But anywho, like we said, Cyberverse.
Cyberverse. Yeah.
Yes.
So do we want to talk about
wait. So
what do you wanna talk
should
about?
we talk? Are we allowed to talk about spoilers right away, or should we put off the fact that we're going to discuss Unicron kills Bumblebee at the end?
Eric. How? No, we're going to split up.
Boo! I'm booing you.
We'll put spoilers off for a little bit. We're just going to do like the brief summary, and then
you
just
need to
talk
watch the
about
show.
yeah, and then like tell people that they should probably go watch the show, and then we'll jump into spoilers. So, who wants to give a quick non-spoilery summary of this series?
I will. You should watch the show.
Well, entice people to watch it. What's it about?
It's about robots that are on Earth, and they turn it. Okay, so it's basic Transformers, but it's about Bumblebee and his best friend Windblade, and their little adventures through our world, surprisingly lacking people.
Yes.
Maybe it's a
Yes.
post-apocalyptic world. I don't know. We don't know. It's
There's
never outright
humans.
stated. I'm not saying
There,
there's not no humans. There's just very, very few. But also flashbacks to Cybertron and such, as Windblade helps Bumblebee in a reference to Transformers Prime using the psychic cortical patch.
Cortical
recover-
psychic patch.
Whatever. Recover his
If you can make
memories.
fun of me for saying wide line or wine lied, that was I can make fun of you for this.
See, but like you just kept saying that wrong like 10 times in a row, and that's what made it funny. If it would have been just you messed up the word and said wine line instead of line wide once, it would have just been like, oh, he goofed. But like you said it 10 times and couldn't get it right. But anyways, Bumblebee's
If you
going
want to
through
know
his
what we're talking
memories.
about, go to Steel City Bots and watch the one of the currently latest episode of NGT reviews on the Voyagers of
NGT
Siege.
reviews. I was like, which Steel City Bots episode? I don't remember that. But
Go to Geek Talk. I called the network Steel City Bots by accident.
how dare you? Anyways, you have one job.
Excuse me.
But Bumblebee is recovering his memories and all that, and I don't know what else to say without spoilers. They go on to... They're trying to find the Ark. That's not a spoiler. So they're trying to find the Ark, and they are recovering his memories in the process and encountering several Decepticons and adventures and a goat.
Bah.
I forgot about the goat.
I want a spin-off show with the goat.
Yes.
Here's the goat eating some grass, chewing his cud. Oh, look, the goat finally ran into a wall today. It has its horn stuck. Will it get out? Tune in next time.
I hope so. Otherwise,
Anyway.
the show's about a dead goat then. That'd be sad.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
sad.
It would be
So,
And it's really good, so you should watch it. The real show,
So,
not
yes.
the goat show.
Yes. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was next going to ask. Without going to spoilers, do you recommend people watch this show if they haven't?
11 out of 10.
I say it's a good time. I do. I'm not entirely sure where I'd place it on like a general audience scale, but I think
11 out of 10.
you probably could introduce this to a general audience without getting them too lost. It does have a couple flaws that I'll point out when we get into talking about the nitty-gritty stuff, but overall, I had a fun time. That's all I'll say.
Cool. Miguel, would you recommend this to people?
Yeah, I think that it's a real, like, personally, I feel that it's a really good show to introduce people to Transformers in general, just because of this sort of anthology nature with going back and forth between, like, modern day and the early adventures on Cybertron, because you really get somewhat of an establishment of a lot of the core tenets of Transformers, along with the show kind of tapping into G1 so much, it kind
It's
of
not just G1 though. It's like
not just G1, but
that's what's amazing about it.
it takes sprinkles of other continuities, but I think mainly G1 and oddly enough a lot of some stuff from IDW, and kind of melds it into this thing that I think if you introduce someone from here, from Cyberverse, you start them there and then kind of branch off, they'll easily be able to pick up on things that Cyberverse introduced to them, even though Cyberverse is picking up from like those other shows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was also nice too is that I guess it's not as intimidating as some other shows in the Transformers oeuvre.
Would you say the
that
format
exists.
helps with that, or is it mainly just like the lightheartedness of it? Like, do you think the format, because this is the only show that's ever been 15-minute episodes in Transformers history?
Yeah, like I
Is
guess
Rescue
what
Bots,
I'm
well, Rescue Bots Academy, I think, is in the 11-minute format as well.
Well, but that came out after, so it's the first.
True.
so what I would say is I think I think what's nice is that, like, you know, if someone was to start with the beginning and like want to get through the original G1 run, then that's like a lot of commitment, because it's like, how many seasons? 4 or something, right? Am I right?
And a movie.
Yes.
Well, it's
No?
8 episodes. The seasons were unbalanced. The last season had 3 episodes.
Oh, okay. So it's like you said, like over 90 episodes, and they're all TV length. So that can be kind of a, you know, unless someone's really into it, you know, that might be kind of a commitment.
And honestly,
Whereas
it's not that good of a show. I love
Yeah.
that show, but it's not that good of a show.
it's like, from what I've heard and from what little I've seen, it's mostly just kind of, it's a fever dream that you can just kind of laugh at. But I'd say that what's nice about Cyberverse is that it's very digestible. Like it's not, there's not so many episodes that it feels like you're making a huge commitment, and it's brief enough, but it still has a good pace. So it's not like with Prime Wars, where the episodes were so
That's
short,
what I
but
was
they had
about to bring up. I was going to
absolutely
say, isn't it just like Machinima's Combiner Wars, Titans Return, and Power of the Primes?
Definitely. I feel like Cyberverse's whole thing is showing how you can do like a shorter format series
And
better.
not be garbage.
Yeah, exactly. Because the
Yes.
problem with Prime Wars was that it was like, everything else aside, the episodes. I mean, how long were the episodes? 10 minutes long?
No, they were like 5 minutes long.
Oh, okay, that's
Combined
right, yeah.
Wars was 5 minutes. I think the other series were encroached on 10.
They were
Yeah,
more,
but
I
like
think
they were
more
super
7 or
short,
8.
and they were so short that there really wasn't, like, they had to cram so much in, and it was like, and the problem too is that it really relied heavily on like presupposed knowledge of the Transformers universe in order to really get what was going on, which, I mean, is fine if you're looking just to like appeal to fans, but even then I don't really know if there's much in it for fans. And I think that the Cyberverse cartoon shows that you can have a shorter runtime, but also still have an engaging story and not lose people. Though I will say, in my personal opinion, the beginning took me a little long to like really get into the series. Like, I thought the beginning episode was kind of weirdly paced. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I can really place why, but I kind of just felt like, I don't know. It took me a couple episodes before I was like, you know, this might not actually be too bad. Not that I was thinking it sucked, but I was just kind of very indifferent towards it until like the middle of the season. So, but that's my opinion on that. It's probably one of my bigger onions, I guess.
I'm confused now.
Okay.
Because you're talking about how the opening's weirdly paced. We never find out, like, how Bumblebee's... where he
Let's
is.
see spoilers, which we can start right now. If you haven't seen Cyberverse, go watch it on YouTube right now. It's completely free. There's not even ads in front of it, I don't think.
I don't think so. Oh, but I do want to say also before that it's I think we kind of touched upon this with Miguel said, but I don't know if he outright said it, is that this show is basically perfect for anyone that is a Transformers fan or isn't, because it can introduce you very well, but also it has tons of stuff for Transformers fans. Tons.
Yeah.
So much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
But yeah,
All
yeah,
the stuff.
talking about the beginning, how is Bumblebee in the state that how is he awake? How long has he been awake? I never thought about this till now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was wondering that one. I did end up, we were watching the series after the series ended, and that was one of the first questions I had, because yeah, so the arc crashed not 4 million years ago, but 65 million years ago.
Yeah.
That's true. It was because of Grimlock.
Yeah, I know, which Grimlock's some of the best parts, in all honesty, I think so.
Oh, can I just
Grimlock.
say, okay, so I was watching I was doing my memes because that's what I do when I watch Transformers media, and when I saw Grimlock for the first time, I was like, he does not look like Grimlock. He looks like Wolfman. Like his alt mode, or not his alt mode, his robot mode looks like, to me, was not how I would envision Grimlock, because there wasn't really much in his design that indicated dinosaur, but like it was kind of interesting.
What Grimlocks are you familiar with?
Animated.
Animated mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen the G1, so maybe it's close to the G1 design, and I'm just ignorant, which fair.
I mean, his legs and arms are spiky. Like, he has his dino claws on his hands, like around his hands.
Yeah, he does.
And the dino
I don't
arms
know.
on his back.
But admittedly, Grimlock has always been a very blocky robot and dinosaur.
Yeah. No.
And I do think he's a fun character. His design threw me off. Anyway, what was I talking about originally? Oh yeah, we don't really get much context as to whether or not Bumblebee has just been out in the wild for 65 million years.
No,
or
he definitely is not.
No.
Oh,
That we
that's
can
right, 'cause
guarantee
ghosts.
because of the
absolutely
presence
certain
of
not of
ghosts.
that. Yeah, because of Grimlock.
Right. Never mind. But yeah, there isn't a lot of indication as to how long he's been on
I
Earth.
feel like something
or
that
awake.
could tie into it is probably the other biggest question I have. In fact, I think it's actually a bigger question that I have is, where's Megatron?
Yes.
That's a good question.
But that's the thing, is like, that is clearly intentional. There's no way that's an accident. He's not in the present. He's not mentioned. He's not referenced. Nothing in the present whatsoever, other than
that's fair.
Bumblebee acknowledging the fact that he's looking at his memories. Not by Decepticons, not by there's nothing. So part of me wonders if he's linked to what happens to Bumblebee, and also because, correct me if I'm wrong, is the movie continuity the first continuity to launch the Allspark off of Cybertron?
The movie continuity was the first continuity with the Allspark.
Okay, so it is the first one. Yeah, that is true. But it was the first one.
It introduced the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah, it's true. So, I'm wondering if it's a movie scenario where Megatron's if Megatron is on Earth right now, and we just don't know it yet. But somehow he
there was a
interacted with Bumblebee,
thing
I don't know.
in the first episode where Windblade talks about Megatron detected the Allspark. The Autobots went out after the Allspark, and then there's been no contact.
Yeah, so he could be on Earth.
I have a feeling that
Possible.
it could be a movie homage, and that's what happened. And part of me wonders if he arrived more recently than we think, and that maybe he's linked to Bumblebee's awakening or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and we also don't exactly know how Bumblebee's memories managed to be erased in the first place. I mean, we assume that it's because of the crash, blunt trauma, head trauma.
It appears no one else has that problem.
That's fair, yeah.
Well,
I mean, in all fairness, we only know of Grimlock, and then presumably Optimus Prime is fine at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, the Optimus Prime was secured within the Ark. There's like 3 or 4 other Autobots that get sucked out of the ship along with Bumblebee, but no mention has been made of them yet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so there's a lot of mystery and intrigue in this series, which is good. I think that that's a good sign,
They have not played all of their cards.
No, which is nice, and they're leaving up some things for
and
speculation.
it's giving other characters time to shine, like Shockwave.
Woo!
I love Shockwave. He had a very cool
He's a real dirty bastard in this.
He had a very cool moment at the end of the season. He turns into his cute little pets. He is just a big one of his cute little pets. It's great.
And his cute little pets were co-built with him and Wheeljack before the war.
Oh, yeah. Also, he was giving out high fives before the war.
Yeah, he really liked his high fives.
Wait, actually, can I just say that that's actually one of the things that I really like about this series? I think this series is one of the first times at least of the media I've seen, where Autobots and Decepticons are framed as being friends or friendly with each other before the war. And because like that whole scene in the McAdams episode, where they're in the bar and like Wheeljack and Shockwave, there we go. Shockwave are friends, and like there's just this whole camaraderie with a lot of them, and I think it was a really effective episode in like just in general, but I think it was really great seeing the Autobots and Decepticons actually interacting in a positive way.
What's the game called that they play on Cybertron? That's
Cube?
Yeah, Cube.
The Cube.
That was cool to see as well. Like,
yeah.
Because we rarely get... I mean, supposedly the new... Well, not really, because the new IDW continuity is focusing on the first death on Cybertron, and then hence the war starting. So not really peace. This is the only continuity I could think of where like we got a decent amount of peacetime, where you like you mentioned the Autobots and Decepticons being friends, but also like literally just like, what did they do?
Yeah,
there's a big question like what do you do on Cybertron before there's war, because all there is war for millions of years.
Gladiator pits have been a thing for a while, and we know Megatron was still a gladiator at this time.
Yeah, but other than killing each other, what do Cybertronians do?
But like that's what I was going to bring up. Like the I can think to the IDW comics, and then what was the first novel for the Align continuity? Was it Exodus? Exodus had, especially in the early parts of Exodus, there is a lot of touching on different points of Cybertronian like day-to-day life and how it gets impacted as the Decepticons become more and more aggressive. Mm-hmm. But this is the first time where we see a lot of like Cybertronian like day-to-day life that's like way far away from the war.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we also have like Velocitron, the vacation racing planet.
Yeah. And I really think that those elements like add a lot more life to the Transformers as like a alien race, you know, like you feel like, oh, they have a culture, they have, oh my gosh, Miguel's back. I mean, he was here, but like now we see his face.
Why did Miguel turn me into a bat?
Because he had a typo in the group chat earlier and called you Crobat instead of Eric.
Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, that I like was totally forgetting that context. I was just like, why?
Eric Crobat? Oh my god, that's great. Oh, I love it already. Anyway, yeah, I really sorry, they just sent me the oh my god, that's so funny. If you send me that picture, I might even put it in the
video itself.
Yeah, we'll see. If I'm up to it when I'm actually editing this. Anyway, yeah, I really like all the little elements and the more interpersonal aspect of the Transformers this time around, and I'm really happy that Cyberverse itself isn't taking itself too seriously, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like with Prime Wars, it was just like, oh, everything's so important and bad, and oh, look, the world's ending. And I mean, like, Cyberverse isn't afraid to get serious either, but I think it's really nice that they are allowing the Autobots and Decepticons to actually, like, have fun and like be fun guys instead of always being like, I'm so done with things. Because like, I mean, that's fine, but it gets old after a while, I think.
Wait. So speaking of fun characters, Teletran X is a new character in the Transformers. And at first, I have gone completely 180 on Teletran X. I don't know if you guys are the same, but like when he showed up, I was not thrilled with it. I was just like, oh gosh, this guy.
I think everyone in the fandom had the same conception that he was going to be like the Wheelie.
Yeah. Although, I mean, like Wheatley, even though Wheatley's kind of...
Well, I said Wheelie. I said Wheelie.
Wheelie, not Wheatley.
But, I mean, he's also
kind of like
in terms of... He's also the Wheatley.
What's a Wheatley?
But he doesn't become the villain.
Wheatley is from Portal. He's a character from Portal too. If you've ever seen like the blue sphere with like it's like a skull. Actually, I have a. Well, I won't do it now, but I have a.
Like it's
I have a
basically
poster of him
Teletran
on my
X
wall.
with white paint.
I mean, like Wheatley's a
And
little
British.
a little. Yeah, he's British too. Voiced by Stephen Merchant. Yeah, but they're sort of the same, sort of like the annoying sidekick character. But Teletran X, I think, is really. I didn't mind him too much. I didn't think he was too annoying, even when I first saw him. I just kind of was like, oh, whatever.
I was just like, okay, can we dump him and move on? And then we didn't dump him and move on, but he actually became relatively quick. Like, just 2 to 3 episodes into him being there, I was like, I actually kind of like him. And then by the season finale, I was emotionally invested in him. I was, like, genuinely worried and, like, sad and then very happy with what happened with him, so.
I'm curious to see how they'll use his character his character going forward in season 2, given the fact that now Teletran X is the arc.
He's Teletran.
Like,
Yeah. Well,
I'm curious if he'll just be able to deploy himself as a body. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I just want to point this out because I didn't realize this before, but I find it funny.
That's what I was about to say. Teletran X is Omega Supreme.
Oh, jeez. If that happens.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Happens.
I would actually...
He does have the color schemes for
I would
so...
actually love that. I'm not going to lie. And then I would say that we were getting a Titan class Teletran X in Transformers. I would no longer be like, we're getting a Titan class Omega Supreme. Be like, no, we're getting a Titan class Teletran X.
Yes. That'd be good.
I don't mind Teletran X. I think he's a fine character, and I was definitely like invested when he was trying to save the Ark. So that was really nice.
Yes.
I also want to give. What was it? Oh yeah, I thought the episode on what was it? Velocitron? Is that the name of the planet?
Velocitron. Yep. The speed.
With the
planet.
rust. Yeah, Speed Planet with the Rust Plague.
Blur. Oh, poor Blur.
Yeah, that was really interesting episode. I kind of like. I feel like also there's not a lot of instances where you see Transformers facing like actual like physical bodily like harm in the way that like obviously the fighting and like that kind of stuff.
You know, getting shot and dying and stuff.
But Transformers are very resilient because they're robots and they can take a lot more punishment than
like the idea of a rust plague or a disease affecting them is something you don't typically see in too many Transformers continuities. I mean, I know it's in the IDW comics.
It's been around since G1.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I was just gonna say it has been a thing since basically the beginning.
Well, then I guess I
series since have featured some variation.
Yeah, though I don't think we usually see a main character, although I would argue that at the same time Blur isn't a main character in Cyberverse, but like he's a main Transformers character. We've never seen a main character just die like that from it. So it was different at least. But
yeah.
And there's also if the series continues with Bumblebee with going into Bumblebee's memories to continue repairing them, we could see more of Blur from before then.
Yeah.
Or they could clone him and bring him back to life.
You're not saving this Blur like you could save animated Blur.
Eric just wants clones. That's all
I was waiting for Miguel to call me out on it. That's literally why I said that. I was just like, I just want Miguel to talk about how I have a clone problem.
Oh my! Well, as long as no one eats a clone, we're fine.
I was just about to say, like, as long as Eric doesn't decide to become a biology major.
Yeah.
That's also true.
Hold on while I submit a transfer request.
What were your guys' favorite episodes? I think McAdams for me is definitely one of the best episodes, because I think I really liked the way it showed the progression of the war.
And
you know, like you go. It has what?
And it has Deadlock.
Yeah. Well.
Do you remember Deadlock?
She hasn't met Deadlock. She's only met Deadlock's new persona.
No, but no, Deadlock's in the episode she's describing.
No, yeah, but she doesn't know the great. Okay, Alyssa. So Drift.
Yes.
Is Deadlock. Deadlock was a Decepticon before he was the Autobot.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the Decepticon that's like hiding in McAdams, and then Megatron bursts in, and then McAdams like no fighting. That's why he's like no fighting. It's because Deadlock is there because he's switching sides.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I love Deadlock. I like Drift, but I
understand
love
now.
Deadlock.
I understand now. Anyway, yeah. So I really like that episode because it shows sort of the we see the bar at certain stages. You know, towards the beginning where, you know, there's peace, and then steadily as the war gets worse and worse, we see more destruction and discord until there's literally nothing left. And I don't know, I think that's just a really great way to show sort of the way in which the war on Cybertron has been affecting everyone. Right?
It's made me think ever since that episode they're going to go back to Cybertron at some point in the series because McAdam stays.
Yes.
He does, yes.
And McAdam, I would love to see more of McAdam.
Yeah.
And if we see more of McAdam.
Are you privy to who he is?
Well, I know he has something to do with the Primes.
Yeah, he essentially is one of the 13 Primes.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that's confirmed in the show, but
with
what he does, he clearly is. And they already said that Alpha Trion had the Matrix, so they're clearly they're going 13 Primes. So, I mean, not that Alpha Trion having the Matrix is a 13 Primes thing. That just clearly means he was Prime. So, like he gave the Matrix to Optimus. So,
but here's a thought. Here's a question I have. I just thought of this when I just rewatched it. Do you think he properly bore the Matrix and was the proper leader of Cybertron before Optimus Prime, or that he was just keeping it secret because the current Primes in office were not worthy?
I don't know if there was a current Prime in office. I'm guessing that he was doing what he does in Aligned. Although he doesn't hold the Matrix in Aligned, but like he wasn't. I don't think him and McAdam are making it clear that they're Prime. Although, I don't know. It didn't seem so secret between him and Optimus. So like, Optimus might be Optimus, I would guess, is privy to the knowledge that Alpha Trion was a Prime. I just don't know if everyone on Cybertron was. I would guess that he was like involved in the government, but I don't think he was Prime.
Okay. Because
I have no idea.
That bit that definitely feels like it's drawing from Aligned in the Exodus novels.
Yeah.
In those novels.
Yeah.
Because they say Optimus is a file clerk and he was a clerk for Alpha Trion, so if anyone would know, Optimus would know.
Did he go by Optimus in Cyberverse before he was Prime? He did, didn't he?
So here's the thing. I remember when the episode aired, someone noted on the TF Wiki he was called Optimus. In the flashback itself, he is never referred to as Optimus. And as far as I can tell, no flashback before he takes on the Matrix has him actually ever referred to by name.
I was kind of wondering if that was the case.
Orion Pax has definitely never been mentioned, and I think he's only been referred to name since he bore the Matrix. However, the implication is since Teletran told Bumblebee to remember Optimus, that he might have been called just Optimus before becoming Optimus.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I have the feeling he's called Optimus in this continuity, like War for Cybertron, how he was. He took the name Optimus before he was...
Yeah, he was Optimus before he was Prime.
Which is a little weird, because in the Aligned continuity, he's also Orion Pax before he's Optimus.
Depends which version you look at, which version of the story. But yeah, so it seems like that is, and again, like especially since there's no like Arise Optimus Prime to signify, oh, this is the moment Bumblebee is keying onto with the first instance of him hearing Optimus. But no, so.
That chair.
Yeah, this chair.
God.
This chair's a little squeaky.
Excuses. That's sure it's the chair.
But yeah, I also really like how when McAdams transforms, we don't actually see it. We just see the
it's
shadow.
yeah, it's so much more effective that way.
I really like that. It kind of also, again, I mean, I'm not up to my Transformers lore, obviously, but like if they're going for the whole Prime thing, I definitely think that's a good way to lean into it, because it sort of has that sort of like idea of like, you know, how can you show something so awesome? And I mean awesome in like the biblical sense.
Yeah.
On screen, because you can't really catch. That's true, yeah.
It's just lost its meaning over the years.
Yeah. That's what the original meaning of awesome is what I meant. Inspiring awe. So like because that's sort of a good like trick to like sort of as a way of showing that like whatever they're seeing is like too much for us to see in
it's
some
almost
ways.
Like he's just has an eldritch abomination form.
Or something, or just something really like awe-inspiring. So
yeah, but it's like definitely a weird transformation, but like something clearly very different.
Even though McAdams, like even though McAdam definitely has a standard vehicle mode, looking at the kibble he's got.
Yeah.
He has sort of a I am a god mode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
yeah.
The interesting transformation makes me think of the most interesting Transformer, I think, take on a character in the show, and that is Grimlock.
Yes.
Because his transformation matters more than any other Transformer ever, kind of. His alt mode, and he's a very unique take that I very much enjoy. I was unsure about it whenever they had announced it. Before the show came out, they did announce that it would be like a Dr. Wait, is it Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde?
Yeah.
Type thing where like Grimlock himself is actually very smart, which is a totally different take on the character. And then Dino Grimlock is even dumber than most Grimlocks we know of, by a little bit, I would say, but similar.
I feel like he's I feel like Dino Mode Grimlock might be a combination of like just a bit of a blending of the season 1, season 2, and season 3 Grimlocks from G1, because those were two different animals.
Yeah, I would make that argument, but it's clear that it's like literally there's two personalities in him. It's not just like, because he literally, they say the I don't know if they say it in the show. They show obviously how it's going on, but in the description we've gotten is that he literally rewires himself to give himself more strength in his dinosaur mode. But
yes. No, sorry, I wanted to clarify like how the Dino Mode personality is. It's a blending of the anger of the season 1 and the kind of dumb stupidity of season 3. Not that the season 1, season 2 is like robot mode, and season 3 is Dino.
Yeah. No, I got.
I just want to make that clear since we're talking about a lot of different personalities.
And he has survivor's guilt. The Dino personality does, which is a fantastic take. It's sad, but that is fantastic.
Yes.
I love Grimlock. I love this Grimlock. It's so different. But it like felt so natural. That's the thing, is like, to anyone who has enjoyed any version of Grimlock previously, this basically seems probably the most out of character Grimlock ever. Even more so than RID. A lot of people thought he was out of character, but I would argue that like.
Wait, are you talking RID 15 or RID 01? Because RID 01.
RID 01 doesn't count. I'm talking about 15. That's a reuse of the name. That's not the same character. There's a difference. And I'm not even saying that as like a jerk. I'm just saying like literally, like there's just a difference. That is clearly.
I don't know. I was just blown away because like I remember them announcing that and I was like, that's weird. But then watching the show, it's so freaking natural. Like
Yeah.
it took me forever to even realize, like, oh yeah, that's not what Grimlock's normally like. Like,
Yeah.
he's just so good on the show, and his chemistry with Bumblebee, ooh, is so good. Grimlock's so
Yes.
good on this show. I'm so surprised by how good Grimlock is in the show.
Two things about Grimlock. His first appearance was over comms,
Yep.
and I could not tell you that was Grimlock at that time.
Didn't he say
And like it was in the
credits?
credits, but like I would not have believed you.
Doesn't he say that it's Grimlock in the episode? I knew it was
Does-
Grimlock. Maybe I only knew because of like a trailer or something, but I
Maybe.
thought that like when he was over
Because
Compton,
there-
I thought he made it clear that it was him.
Which one are we talking about? Because there is the season 1 one when he's heading towards the Ark, and then the
Yeah, that's
season
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. the episode 3. He might have. I might just be forgetting, but
Or
definitely.
maybe I was confused, and then I went back and found out it was him, and it just didn't have
Yeah.
a hard time once I found out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, I do want to take a note how cheeky the writers were in the 4th episode when Grimlock, now that we've been properly introduced to formal talking Grimlock, says, "You think you're tough, but you're not as tough as me, Grimlock."
Yep.
It's like,
Almost like the writers are really big Transformers fans that clearly know what they're doing.
oh, absolutely.
Speaking of good chemistry, I really like the dynamic between Windblade and Bumblebee.
I really thought you were
especially
going to say
like-
Optimus Prime and Megatron because of your meme.
That too. I'll get to that. We're gonna get back to that, okay? Put a pin in it. We're putting it right on the corkboard. It's gonna come down soon. But what I wanted to say was Bumblebee and Windblade I really like because A, it's not a romance. They're just friends, which I'm really appreciative of. I always feel like shows always feel like they have to shoehorn in a romance.
Don't
It
worry,
always is the main-
Transformers rarely does that. It's in
No, I
shows.
know.
Yeah, I was
I
going to
know,
say,
which
that's
is
your
great.
exception.
Which is great. And like I hate how but my point is that there's so many shows where there's just a romance for no reason, and it sucks because it's like, why? This shouldn't be a thing. There's no chemistry at all. But Windblade and Bumblebee have great chemistry as friends, and you believe that they get along, and that's really great. Yeah, so I really like that. And I also really happy there's tons of fembots in the show. Really supportive of that.
There's an episode without a single guy, isn't there?
Yeah, the one where Windblade's fighting the Seekers.
Yeah, Nova Storm, Thundercracker, and Slipstream, right? Yeah, in the Arctic, isn't that it?
Well, that's the one you're talking about, but there were males. Bumblebee also appeared in the episode, but that was the first episode ever in Transformers fiction to have a predominantly female cast.
There was more females than males, yeah.
Yes, there is not.
Which-
And there were scenes without males, period. And they didn't discuss
Yes.
males, so it passes that test. I forget what it's called.
Bechdel test.
The Bechdel test.
Yes.
Bechdel test. Yep. The lowest bar of all fiction.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm gonna put my salt at the side. But yeah, I really like that. And I'm really happy that Windblade, even though she's the main female lead, she's not shoehorned into romance, and that's really great. And I also really like, I don't know, I just think that her and Bumblebee have really good friendship, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think that Bumblebee's chemistry with basically everyone in the show is fantastic.
Oh yeah, I also really like his relationship with Optimus Prime. I think it's very like student mentor teacher kind of thing. Sort of like you can tell that Bumblebee looks up to him.
Yeah, but not in a shoehorned way where it's like, oh, Bumblebee's good. Like Bumblebee will be the leader someday. Like some
No.
Transformers have done that, but no, it's very much like Optimus Prime's his dad.
Yeah.
Like, Grimlock's like sort of like a brother. which
Mhm.
is not a term I came up with. In fact, the person who stated that Grimlock is like Bumblebee's like Grimlock's little brother is Bumblebee's voice actor, Jeremy Levy. Whenever we talk to him, he's
Yes.
the one that said that, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty fitting. Now that I've seen those episodes.
Yep. And then the other relationship has good chemistry, as you mentioned. Megatron and Optimus Prime. This continuity is finally realizing my dream of them being bitter exes, and I am here for it. Yes. I mean, I'm always going on about how they're actually bitter exes.
You say that, but I feel like there's a better case for that in Prime.
And Optimus and Transformers Prime.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't watched all of that yet, and I probably
Megatron
will.
dies in the first like 5 episodes.
No,
and
yeah,
Optimus
I know.
is like really sad about it. He's like, man, I wish we could have. He's like, yeah, we won, but like, man, I wish I could have helped Megatron. And it's just like, jeez.
Yeah, no, and I'm really happy. It seems like they're really leaning into that. And having them be explicitly friends initially is really good.
That's
and
something
so-
that was Prime the first one to do that. Michael. Oh, okay, I thought your internet went out for a second.
Yeah, I thought I did too. To be honest, but it's going to go any minute. I know it.
Yeah, but Prime is the first continuity in which this happens, right? Because I think Prime plays it up way more than this series even does. They were like brothers. Oh wait,
It's
technically
very close
the
because
movies.
IDW was also. I'm thinking Chaos Theory.
When did that come out? Because
Same 2010.
then the movies is the first continuity.
Yes, but that's definitely a comics thing, not a
No,
movie.
he says it in the movie. He's like he's visibly upset about his death and calls him his brother. And in the fifth Transformers
seconds
movie,
later, he's just
Megatron
very
even
sad.
says,
Body is just like, aw, jazz.
"Yeah, he's like more.
Like, it's the
he's like
first
just
instance
upset
where
about Megatron's death as he is about
except-
Jazz's." And
Actually-
in the fifth movie,
Less.
Megatron also literally at the end says, "We were brothers once." Before Optimus Prime just drop kicks him out of the ship after cutting his arm off.
Yeah.
So no,
Yeah.
technically the movies is the first continuity to make that a thing, but
Yeah.
Prime is the strongest example by far.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Because
but
their rise to power
I'm-
was together.
I still really like the take of them being bitter exes, and I am always here for it.
Like-
And
Like in the episode where Bumblebee and Prime go to confront Megatron, you can just feel the tension. You can just feel
Yeah.
that sexual tension.
I hate you.
I mean, I'm not
God.
wrong. Completely. I'm not completely wrong.
There's
Is Miguel falling
tension.
asleep?
He looks pretty cozy. He's clearly in a bed.
Yeah.
Miguel. Hi.
Hi. Okay. Just want to make sure you're still
I want to
awake.
make sure you didn't fall asleep.
No, I'm awake.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Aw, dang it.
Darn.
We were gonna
Should
reach through the
open up
computer screen
closer.
and draw a little mustache on your face
Yeah.
if you'd fallen asleep.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I really like that stuff there. Some
Yes.
other things I wanted to say that I really liked. I forget her name. The bot with all the different parts. Is it Shadow Striker?
Shadow Striker.
Yeah.
Shadow Striker. There we go. I really like Shadow Striker. I like the fact that she's sort of disabled as a robot. In the sense that
She's
kind of-
Frankenstein. No,
she's Frankenstein. Yeah.
I was gonna say, would you call Frankenstein's monster disabled?
Well,
guess
she's
not.
definitely not fully functional.
Yeah, she struggles a lot. She fights against her body a lot, I guess I'll say.
Does
And
she?
I really,
I didn't think that she ever seemed like she was struggling that much. She was just really bitter about it.
No, she
Well,
was struggling. There
there were
definitely.
there were a couple scenes where she might have done something if not for her hand or her limbs. I think there was specifically one scene where she was trying to reach for a gun and her hand froze up so she couldn't or something like that.
Yeah. There's
So
there's
yeah.
her flashback when reiterating to Bumblebee about what happened specifically brought up the fact that she was training a long time to try to get her body back up to snuff,
Oh,
but she
yeah.
couldn't.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there's also like when she was trying to jump on the airplane, but like her arm froze up and she fell off because she lost her grip.
Yeah, so I really think that's really interesting. The idea of her just like sort of having to deal with that, and I guess it gives her a lot more of a like I like how they're not just making the Decepticons just like, oh, we're evil and stuff.
I
You
think
know,
she needs
she
more
actually has.
fleshing out though.
She does.
Like,
I do think
do
that
think
she
she's
doesn't give.
she's a super cool idea. I don't think she's quite fleshed out enough.
She does. She does. We don't see her that often, but I do like where they're going with her. I think.
Yeah, I feel like she's
Um,
just like Bee's nemesis in this continuity, but like we haven't seen much, so it's not like this super big
no,
deal like they sort of make it out to be. It's like I don't.
right.
But I do like the idea of her for sure. For sure, it's very unique to her.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other things that I wanted to point out.
How do you feel about
Anything-
Slipstream?
Slipstream? I like her.
Really,
I think.
I'm disappointed with how much she sucks.
Oh, really?
Like as
what
in
about
like
her?
is she's she's terrible at her job. She never does anything.
I mean, yeah, she does. She is a little.
She's
sus,
not
but I
threatening
sort of
anymore.
got
She's
the
like a
impression
joke.
that she kind of is under a lot of pressure, you know.
But she like
And
doesn't. She literally is like never a threat.
no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I mean, it's been a hot minute since I've seen all of Cyberverse,
She
so
literally gets her butt kicked by Windblade in like every episode she shows up in.
she does.
Which it's like, but
Um,
no, like the episode where it's mainly girls. Nova Storm gets like one of the most badass moments where she like lifts Windblade up and drops her off a cliff. After which Windblade like recovers and then like beats her up. But like that was super cool moment. But it went to Nova Storm, who's a background character, not Slipstream, who's like the main seeker. And I was like, but Slipstream doesn't do anything that's like imposing whatsoever. And you could have given her that moment where it's like, oh, she was a threat that one time. No, it was her henchman.
yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, I didn't really mind her. I mean, to be fair, I don't think I have much of an opinion on her either way. But I don't think I had any like huge problems with her as a character. I think there were some other characters that I had, or some other issues that I had with the show that weren't necessarily tied to her so much. But I see where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Miguel? Are there any other characters that you wanted to talk about? Or
Miguel.
Trying to think.
I mean, it's cool if if we've covered everything character-wise.
I was annoyed, and this isn't so much a character thing as more a voice actor thing. I was annoyed in the Velocitron episode how Hot Rod and Blur sound so similar.
Yeah, that's fair.
I literally
that's-
didn't notice that till whenever you said it. Like, it's very true. Just for some reason, I never noticed it until you were like complaining about it.
I think someone pointed it out before I saw the episode way back when, and then I watched it and I was like, I hate this because I can't tell like who's talking. Like I can, like when I see them, like their mouths moving, okay, but like otherwise I'm just like this is very jarring. But no, I think you guys pretty much covered it as far as like the interesting kind of breakout characters.
Cool.
There is one thing that like we definitely need to talk about, but I want to wait for Michael because I know that he really likes it, and it would be Acid Storm.
Ah.
Are you aware of why Acid Storm's like a worth discussing?
is it because the head model was different in some episodes?
Yeah, it's because Acid Storm shows up as both male and female, and the writers made it canon that Acid Storm just switches because they feel like it.
Cool.
So, like, the first gender fluid Transformer on screen, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
mean,
like,
that's-
literally, Acid Storm showed up as a male first, I believe.
Mhm.
Then, in later episodes, like, female, and was focused on more than, as a male in the previous episodes. It was, like, background.
Mhm.
Like, actually discussed and, like, talked to. And then, I think male in the finale? Could be wrong about that, though. So it's just really
Mhm.
interesting that, like, this take on Acid Storm, it was like, is this an animation error? And then the writers are just like, no, Acid Storm switches back and forth.
Yeah, no, it
Like,
is
just can.
definitely it is definitely very interesting. I actually never noticed that.
Yeah, they haven't made it a big deal. I'm curious if they'll play it up at all in season 2 or not. But yeah, Acid Storm literally does show up as both. It's weird.
Yeah.
And according to the writer,
Oh, yep, we talked. Yeah.
not an accident.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about.
Okay, I wasn't sure what you had said, so
Yep.
because I was obviously.
How do you feel about that? Because I basically explained it all, and I was just saying that, like, I knew you were interested in that.
I think it will be good if they do something with it.
Yeah, I hope they play it up.
Yeah,
Or
me
at least-
too.
At least I hope it's addressed. Like it'd be nice if it's like, oh, it's just a thing, but like at the very least, I would want a proper acknowledgement that yes, that Acid Storm is transgender / gender fluid.
Yeah. I think that
would-
would be really cool.
Yeah, I'd like to see a like. You know what? They don't have to because they don't have to talk about it. Like it, you can just let it be a thing because it's just a normal thing for Acid Storm.
Yeah.
Just show it. Show switching the heads. It's I
Yeah.
think the perfect way to do it, just in the background or something.
Mhm.
The only thing that I really want for like season 2 that I was disappointed was in season 1 is I just want Ultra Magnus. I really
Yeah,
want
Ultra Magnus is weirdly missing from season 1. I'm surprised he didn't show up. He's a pretty popular character.
I feel like out of all the Transformers that do show up in it, it's like we know Magnus. I think that's odd, and I really want Magnus to be in season 2. It's very possible that Magnus is just a character the writers didn't feel like they didn't pick him. They didn't want to do anything with him. But like, I really hope they do in the future because I really do love Magnus, and I feel like he could be awesome in this show. So
Yeah. Yeah. It is kind of strange that they didn't include him, but who knows? Maybe he's one of the 4 Autobots in one of the 4.
or it
pods
could be
that
on the
left
Ark
the
because
ship.
there's like a million people
could-
on the Ark. So that's
he
the
could
thing.
be
is,
on
like,
there, too.
anyone could be on the Ark.
There's up
Yeah.
to it can hold a crew of up to 4,000.
They say that in the show.
Teletran X states that when he's like, "Did you know the Ark is a Vanguard class deep space interceptor? It has 5 decks and can hold a crew of 4,000."
Damn,
Most of that is definitely the generic Autobots.
Yeah. Well, I actually kind of wanted to shift the conversation a little bit to some onions that I had, if that's okay. And by onions, I mean some criticisms, unless you guys wanted to.
Oh,
Wax
so I do want to get Michael's take on my previous criticism, and that was Slipstream. Michael, how do you feel about Slipstream in the show?
Green, yellow, white. What is that, Miguel?
Miguel is trying to communicate to us with semaphore flags. Although.
Oh,
Onions.
Ha.
Hee. I like it.
I liked her.
Really? Because she's the one character I'm like most disappointed in for the show. She's a joke.
Yeah, she's not her animated counterpart.
No, I'm not even. She doesn't need to be anything like animated. She's just straight up a joke. She never does anything. The only Nova Storm gets a cool moment in the fight with Windblade. Slipstream doesn't. All Slipstream does is get beaten down and constantly lose and belittled by everyone.
But yeah,
I don't like it.
I hope that's building up to something more.
I hope so, but I don't
Like,
know.
here's a thought I had with Alyssa, when I was talking to her about it. Crap, what character was that I was talking about, Alyssa?
I'm trying to remember.
Yes, I remember now. So, if you know Miraculous Ladybug,
Oh yeah,
and if you've been watching the later seasons, just quick discussion for those that might not know. There's a character called Hawkmoth that has the superpower of being able to turn a random person into a super villain, and he has a secret identity persona that is a public figure, and in later seasons he specifically uses his public persona to specifically antagonize certain people to have the negative emotions he needs in order to take control of them. And I was like, when Shockwave was just dissing on Slipstream in that one episode, I was like, that's kind of weird for Shockwave. But I'm like, is he playing a bigger picture here? Because it is Shockwave.
Yeah, the one scene I don't know what episode it was in, but like it was one of the ones where
14,
Slipstream Slipstream was like doing a conference call with Starscream and Shockwave, there we go. Sorry, some of these Transformers are so similar and it's really hard for me not to make a mistake. And she's like doing a report and Shockwave is kind of antagonizing her.
Well, Shockwave just basically calls her incompetent because she is throughout the entire series.
But
it's like Starscream's the one that's like making fun of her.
But no, I mean, like, Shockwave is like so overly antagonizing.
No, he literally just talks about, he like literally keeps saying like how you keep failing, which is absolutely true.
No, but like he specifically was like, it is commonly understood that Seekers have low intelligence, and I'd be doubtful that you'd be able to reconstruct the space bridge unless you have simple, easy-to-follow instructions for a drone.
I have so many of these lines memorized.
I don't. Those lines stuck with me pretty well because I'm like, the Shockwave Master of Logic is being a little...
Because she's like the most incompetent character in fiction.
But he's specifically calling it out on all Seekers. He's not specifically redirecting it towards her.
Well,
but
the
it is directed towards her because she's right there.
Yeah, but the other Seekers are under her command. She's in charge of the Seekers.
Kind of like look, even if Slipstream's incompetent, I don't necessarily think her incompetence is necessary. Like, I don't think Shockwave's belittling is like necessary or accurate logically, so I kind of side with Michael on this one.
No, it's pretty fitting. I mean, they literally can't do anything that they're tasked to do throughout the entire show, her and her squad, which you're saying it's about Seekers in general. She is the commander of the Seekers in this continuity, not Starscream.
She's commander of the Seekers on Earth. Starscream is still the overall leader of the Seekers.
On Cybertron he was, but do we know that now still? I mean, that would probably make sense, but...
Starscream threatening to demote her from her task of being in charge of the mission to Earth specifically, so she...
Oh, yeah, that is true. So, yeah, he is still in charge of her, but yeah.
And the under her command, so...
Yeah, but I think it was still just directed at her squad in general, because he clearly doesn't care about the Seekers as much, because, like, there is that moment where Slipstream's like, Shockwave's on Earth, and Starscream's like, what? Why doesn't he tell me when he does these things? I thought that was a funny moment.
That is pretty funny.
I was just like, that happens all the time. Like, Shockwave invaded a planet without telling me.
Starscream. Quick note. His power.
Scream! I know he screams. There's a reason he has the
God.
name.
I like flipped the table. Not really, but like I felt like I wanted to flip a table when I saw that. I had to pause the video. I'd be like, he screams. He just freaking screams. That's his power. He just when I screams.
I know this is like the first
I'm,
continuity
like,
where he
not
has a
okay.
reason for the name.
Wrong. Animated.
Why does he
When-
have the name in animated?
Well, it's not the reason why he has the name in animated, but in animated he has a sonic scream power when he's the head. When he's just the head.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But like still.
But like that's not why he has the name. But
Yeah.
like having the sonic scream power could be a reference to that just as much as him taking off the tips of his wings and throwing them at Windblade could be a reference to Armada's Starscream with his wing swords.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I oh my god. And then one last thing I wanted to talk about that's sort of a positive but also kind of a negative. So there was that one episode where we saw how Bumblebee lost his voice, and I thought it was definitely a really intense moment. I think it was really good that they kind of cut away instead of actually showing you like him having his voice box ripped out. You sort of they implied what was happening, and I thought that was really a good way to do it. Especially considering the tone of this cartoon, I think that was very appropriate.
Yeah,
However,
kids, you can't show that.
I mean, yeah. However, I kind of take a little issue with how abruptly the episode kind of ended. Now I know that I mentioned this with Michael, and he said that Jeremy Levy's take on it was because like the issue I had is that Bumblebee seemed kind of really chipper and like, oh yeah, it's fine, I'm fine now after we saw that. And I was just kind of like,
Wait, that's not his take. That's like clearly visible in the episode. That's not.
No. Alyssa was going to describe Jeremy Levy's take, then went back to the episode itself.
So my point is like, so when I first saw that, I was like not really sure how I felt about it because like I get it, and like Michael told me about Jeremy Levy's interpretation of that scene in that.
That's like not. I don't think that's an interpretation though. Like they literally show Bumblebee, Windblade's sad face. Bumblebee also sad, looks at Windblade, then he realizes it and then does that. That's like I don't think that's an interpretation. I think that's literally the scene. It's shot.
Okay.
That's like because that's what
So,
I'm saying.
like,
That's
hold
not
on,
his take.
Like could you? I understand. I just want to like say my point first.
Okay.
I just want to like get what I'm trying to say out there. So, so the intent of the scene, as far as I know, was the idea that the reason why Bumblebee was acting the way he was sort of for Windblade's sake, in that he was trying to cheer her up. And I mean that's fine. That's understandable. And I totally get it. But I don't know. For some reason, when I first saw that, I was kind of I don't know. I kind of wish that maybe they had addressed Bumblebee's potential psychological damage because of that. It felt kind of brisk for me pacing wise. I understand the motive, and like I mean I only watched the series once, so I mean who knows? Maybe I'm not giving it enough credit, but I guess my first initial reaction was wow, Bumblebee is kind of like I guess I just kind of hope that
I think you
they
should
don't
watch
brush it
the
off.
scene
You know what I
again.
mean?
I think you should watch the scene again because he freaks out.
I mean, yeah,
He's
it's totally
he's
possible.
very upset, and like I said, they make it very clear that he literally looks at Windblade, and that's when he switches. Like he's traumatized. They make that very clear. I think like doesn't he literally scream after
He tore out my voice box, and then the memory fades, and Windblade's like, okay, maybe I do know more of the lines of the show than I realize.
You should.
Bumblebee screams, he tore out my voice box. Windblade's like, I knew Megatron did that to you, but I never would have imagined. The memory fades into the back. Windblade looks at it, and then Bumblebee goes right into his. Megatron may have taken my voice box, but he never will take my ability to talk. I love to talk.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean,
and
like I said, I've only seen this show once, all the way through, and I probably, if I really wanted to make sure I was getting everything, I probably could have watched it again and like taken notes or something. But from my personal impression of it the first time through, it didn't really seem like I got the intent, but I felt that the execution could have been just a little better. But I don't think it's like a huge blemish on the series or anything. And it's not like it didn't take me out of it. It was just like I
do agree with Alyssa that. Well, I do definitely agree that like you can definitely see that, but I think the intent could have stuck the landing better.
I totally disagree still, but we're talking about the in-universe. The out-of-universe is the fact that they literally could not linger on that. It's a kid's show. This is a younger kid's show than any of the other things. Also, I lied when I technically said they couldn't show it because Prime has shown robots literally get gutted. So they totally could have shown it. But again, this is way younger.
Do we know the age? I'm just curious. Do we know the age demographic that this is going towards?
I want to
like. I'm guessing it's. 8 to 12. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe we do know it is like literally published by Hasbro. They have
a chart for where Rescue Bots is, where Cyberverse is, and where like adults are, which is sort of weird that 12 onward is adult, but
I mean with robots, they are able to show them under more violence than humans.
Yeah, but still they aren't in this show because it's younger. Younger.
But it's about the same age demographic as animated, wouldn't you say? And in animated, Ratchet literally tortures Lockdown.
That is true. He does do that.
I think that that's a sign of the times. I think that in this past decade, a lot has changed in terms of what you're shooting for in terms of violence on television for younger children.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not saying that they needed to show it or that it was a bad decision.
Oh no, I know you were fine with that. You're talking about the afterwards.
Yeah, and like I don't know, I feel like kids shows, like I've watched kids shows that have tackled like darker, mature stuff in a way that was really balanced. So, but anyway, that's not I'm just saying what my instincts were in terms of how I felt about some scenes. But my biggest onion. The big cheese, the big onion. It's like the opposite of the Big Apple. It is the fact that there are no people in this show.
Nope,
it's just the weirdest thing. Well, I know there's that one kid, but like aside from that one kid, where are the people?
That's funny that's your onion, because I totally prefer it that way.
Okay, explain.
It's a show about the robots. It's not about people.
So, like, I understand, but at the same time, if you're going to set
there's also
this
the crazy old man, isn't? No, I'm thinking of Robots in Disguise. Never mind.
You are. Yeah.
If you're going to make a show that's taking place on present day or approximately present day Earth, or
in
even
all
like
fairness, they're in the middle
Earth.
of nowhere. They're in the desert.
Not when they were at the airport.
Wrong. Okay, so they're at it. Okay, here's some places that they're
or
in.
The city.
I'm like, how the hell is no one paying attention? Okay, so number one, they were in an airport at one point. 2, they set off a fire at like a building with like where there were like clearly like power lines. Which okay, yeah, it's in a rural area, but like I feel like someone would have probably noticed that it's a huge fire and there's smoke. Other thing. There's the city scene where Grimlock's stomping around the city, and yes, it's at night, but like you telling me that a place that populated wouldn't have just some random person walking around or cars? Like, how is no one seeing it? Also, they had to use like the energy to wake him up. Like that probably affected all the energy and the lighting in the city. And the big one,
probably a citywide blackout when Grimlock was rampaging.
Probably, yeah. I mean, like, we don't see that, but, like...
Well, but if there's a citywide blackout, no one can see him.
But, okay...
But there's literally no one on the streets at all.
Like,
so
sure,
dark, so
no
maybe
one.
there was and you don't see.
Like look, I know that the like maybe like the out of context reason is because they didn't want to have all the models for humans, but still that doesn't make it better that like I'm just sitting here like, where are the people? Like if like it's not like this is like Beast Wars where it's like prehistoric Earth or recent or like humanity at the very beginning where you know, who would know? But the two big ones that it's like someone has to know is the Mount St. Helens equivalent, which is Mount St. Hilary, I think, in this version, blows up, which is Mount St. Helens is an hour outside of Portland, Oregon, which is a very populated city, and there are people who
It's not
like,
Mount
study
St. Helens,
volcanoes,
so it's Mount St. Hilary, so we have no idea where it is.
But like it's clearly an homage and a reference to Mount
Yeah,
St.
but it doesn't
Helens.
blow up till the end.
Okay, yes, but at the same time, in season 2, there better be people because a volcano that's near a populated place would not explode and no
Well,
one would know about
Shockwave's
it.
invading the Earth, so I don't think there's going to be the problem of they don't.
Well, yeah, and then the last one is that Shockwave invades Earth, and there's no way in hell no one sees that. Like, just
Well,
no
no one
way.
said no one sees that. That's the last shot of the series. I'm pretty sure season 2 will have ramifications on the real world.
That's just there's just a surprising lack of people, and like I understand they want to focus on the robots. That's completely fine. My point though is that if you want to focus on the robots, maybe don't set it on Earth, where there are people that would definitely notice these kind of things. You know what I mean? Like there are ways to have a series that focuses on the robots that just completely bypasses humans entirely. And like I'm not trying to say that aspect of it like ruined the series for me, but it definitely was the biggest thing that I noticed and constantly was questioning, because it just was like even in the most remote areas that they showed us, there were still roads, there were still power lines, you know, like Himalayas might have been the most remote areas. Oh yeah, I've been to Arizona.
No one's ever there.
Like yeah, they are in pretty remote places, but there are some places where there's a dense enough population that I feel like someone who isn't just a kid would have maybe seen something, you know, like I don't know. My point is that it like look, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief, right? And I'm definitely one of those people who doesn't like to nitpick too much about inconsequential breakage of physics in something that's mostly science fiction, if not straight up science fantasy. Like I don't care about most of those things. But the problem is that in this context, humans are like clearly a presence, and it's definitely supposed to be modern, not in present day. And I feel like it's just hard for me to suspend my disbelief in that scenario, because they're clearly trying to set it in a certain time and place that's supposed to be like our planet. And if that's the case, then you have to sort of supply some of that logic to that universe. And like, it's just, I don't know. Like,
but you only pointed out like 2 moments where it would make sense that there's people.
Okay, yeah. Why did they show the people in those 2 moments? Like,
but you're saying that it's like such a big thing you can't suspend your disbelief about it. Like that's 2 moments. That's really not that big compared to most things or movies or anything. Media you consume in general where you need to overlook things. It's like 2 moments.
Okay, sure. Still, for me, it was just.
There are more than 2.
There's like 2.
It was just.
They're in the middle of the desert. You can easily put that off for most of the time, regardless of the fact there's roads. But I'm talking about the Grimlock. That totally, I'm with you. The building could have been an abandoned building, but at the same time, still, that's just the only other one. But like,
and the airport, how the hell were they standing in the middle of the parking lot? Bumblebee an impassioned speech for such a long period of time and not get caught when we clearly saw planes taking off at that same right before they transformed.
Look, like there are a lot of ways in which people can get away with things, but it's just like they're huge hulking machines, you know. I don't know.
Like,
it was the thing that kind of bothered me. I don't think it was It wasn't horrible, but like, I don't know. I like that would be my biggest criticism of the show as a whole.
I understand. Sorry. I do agree. I like the lack of humans so we can focus on the robots more. And with Bumblebee's lack of memory, it's a good way for us to focus on the robot characters, but still have to explain to the robot characters what their backstory is.
Yeah.
However, when the penultimate fight of the series is about the extinction of the entire planet, and as far as we can tell, there's only one human on the planet, the threat does not feel as important.
That's also
a big thing, and we still assume, yes, there's a full living planet, but it could have been filled with some more people.
That's also the same problem that Prime Wars had too. You know, like they all talked about how Cybertron was like it's gonna die, but it's like there's like barely any Transformers here. It's like an empty wasteland. Why are we concerned if there's no Transformers to die?
Cybertron
Like,
is a person.
Okay, yeah, but like you know what I mean. Like it's hard to have apocalyptic size stakes if there's not a huge amount of people who might die because of it.
We have seen more dinosaurs in this show than we have humans.
I love that, though, in all honesty. Like, I legit love the
Oh
lack
my
of people.
god. And like, look, I'm not saying that like the lack of people as like a story decision is bad per se, but I don't know, just don't set it on Earth, man, if that's your goal.
I still don't think there's that many moments. It's like 3.
All right, well,
I
get
get that like why don't they have it in those 3 moments? But still, it's like it's not that big. It's not like a recurring problem that happens like over and over again. Like for the majority of the series, it's set basically how Prime is set, where it's the middle of nowhere on purpose, so no one's there. But like those other moments, I do agree. Like,
but even then, you'll still have random humans about. Like, yeah, you don't need humans to specifically be interacting with the Transformers, but in the couple of moments, like at the airport, they could have had a couple of humans walking past Bumblebee in car mode before Windblade and Bumblebee transformed, just to, again, make the world feel more like it's populated, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. But still.
And, like, I don't agree to, like, I don't have the reaction to the extent Alyssa does, but I do agree with it. Again, and the moments, true, while there are not so many, when there's not as many episodes as other seasons, that does increase the overall percentage of instances. And if this repeats throughout the second chapter, then I will definitely take grievance with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think it's more of a big deal in season 2 versus now. I would agree.
Not necessarily like they have to be completely involved, but I still.
Oh no, they don't have to be involved at all. They just need to be shown.
Yeah, though I do feel like there might be some government involvement within season 2, especially if, with the theory you were purporting before, that Megatron landed on Earth recently and maybe currently trapped to some extent. And if it's paralleling the movies, Megatron might be held in government captivity, which would require the necessity. But yeah.
Yeah, so that was my bigger onion. I'm trying to think if there's any other criticisms I had. I don't know. Nothing big
I still can't get over the fact of how Megatron said Optimus's name the first time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was like an Aussie accent, right?
Optimus Prime.
Let's go barbecue.
Like, the rest of his speech feels great. It was just those 2 words. I'm like,
yeah. What? Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind an Optimus Prime with an Australian Optimus Prime, Megatron with a
What, crikey, didgeridoo, the shrimp on the barbie's on fire.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a little funny moment, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I guess, does anyone else have anything big to say about this season?
It's really good.
A long while ago, comparatively overall the length of the episode, you had asked us what our favorite episodes were, and then we all got sidetracked talking about the McAdams.
Yeah, we did. What are your favorite episodes? I said that I think McAdams is probably my favorite episode. It's the one that sticks in my mind the most, so that's one I'll pick.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I definitely think McAdams is the best episode of the whole series so far.
Okay.
Though I also definitely have very much enjoyed Matrix of Leadership.
I did really like that one. I really did like Megatron is my best friend.
Megatron is my
My
hero.
hero, not best friend. Yeah, hero. Megatron is my hero. McAdams. There's one other one, and the Grimlock episode, King of the Dinosaurs, and the finale. I think are the episodes that like stand out to me most.
Yeah.
The finale is probably my favorite, just because it has the most from all the characters that I like. Like, everything that I like about the other episodes is mainly in that one, with the exception of Megatron is my hero. So I'd say it's between Megatron is my hero and the finale.
Yeah, I think those are all good picks too. What about you, Miguel? Are you there, Miguel? Or did he fall asleep? I think he might be MIA again. Miguel, hello. Huh?
It's entirely possible, I think.
Well. All right, sleep tight, Miguel. Have good dreams. Okay. So before, I guess the next thing, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say the next thing was favorite characters.
Oh yeah. Oh boy, I don't know. I haven't really thought about favorite characters.
I mean, I love Deadlock was in it. I really hope they do stuff in season 2 with him. But I would probably say Bumblebee and Grimlock. Maybe even Grimlock. Teletran X gets an honorable mention.
Mm-hmm. I really like Bumblebee. I really like Windblade 2. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know if there's any character that like really stood out to me as like, I love this guy or I love this person. I kind of like them all for various reasons, and I don't really know if there's a character either that was like a weak link or anything like that. And I do think that the take on Grim, I do think that the take on Grimlock was really interesting too. So if I had to pick a favorite, he would definitely be up there. So, what about you, Michael?
I think this series, I think, has made Bumblebee one of my favorite Autobots.
Yeah, didn't you say that he's your second favorite Autobot now?
Oh yeah, I mean this and the Bumblebee movie as well, but like Cyberverse has played a substantial part in.
I think before Robots in Disguise, Bumblebee was like almost purely just like a poster child, and that's like why he was a big deal, and like that's why I did not like him. I liked him in Prime kind of, but still it was just like before everything else, Bumblebee was just this character that's always there as the kid appeal. He was literally nothing more than the kid appeal. He never like was an actually intriguing character other than just like kid appeal. But I think
IDW.
Wait, what?
IDW.
Not counting that. I'm talking about media that a large amount of people get access to. But I think that Robots in Disguise really shifted that. I'm talking about like the main vision of Bumblebee, like what most people see.
Yes.
I think Robots in Disguise was the first major shift of that, where it's like, where Bumblebee was actually in charge, which I was so hesitant on because I'm just like, what the heck? Like, that's just weird. It seems shoehorned, and then it's actually just totally natural, and it works so well. Made him such a great character. Then, and then I've always kind of liked him in the movies, but still, he's never like that much of a character.
Yeah.
But then Bumblebee the movie and Cyberverse have cemented him as like a legitimately good character. And I think that this is probably the strongest presentation of the character ever. Cyberverse specifically. I think so.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I mean, granted, the only other like prominent Bumblebee, I mean, there's the movies, but the only other prominent Bumblebee characterization that I really sticks with me is animateds. But yeah, animated's character is
I like
not...
animated, but he's still not like that much of a fleshed out character. He's a lot of
Nah.
appeal, but he is probably one of my favorite versions of the character previously.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I mean,
Though granted, that was also not meant to be Bumblebee and took on the other characters' traits a lot more than Bumblebee's. That being Hotshot.
that's fair.
Hotshot was also supposed to be Bumblebee, though, so take that as you will.
That is also, but that was also.
So,
but that was
yeah,
where it was literally Bumblebee was not even old enough on Earth to drive himself.
What an irony. Yeah, so those are my favorite characters.
Yeah.
I think the last thing we should do before we wrap up is talk about what we hope for in season 2.
Ultra Magnus! And more Deadlock. Also,
Michael?
where's Megatron? Where's Megatron?
Where
Yes.
are you keeping him, Hasbro?
Also, the Allspark.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
I really think that ties into Megatron. Like
I do.
whether or not it's a copy of the 2007 movie or not, like whether it's the same or not, I think no matter what, those two things have been left very vague on purpose because I think they're intertwined.
Yeah. It's
Also,
completely.
I would like to know, because I also think this could be intertwined with that. Like, what the heck, Bumblebee? How is he? How? I want to know what happened before the first episode.
Yes.
Because that's just a little like.
Because how did he
What?
lose his memory specifically, and how did he lose his voice again?
Wait, what do you mean? Oh yeah, never mind.
Yeah, because
they
on
they
the
did
arc,
say, yeah, she said that because he doesn't have the memory of regaining his voice.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know how, or he may have. I
Or-
took that as he doesn't remember how to talk.
Yeah.
Like maybe they worked out. Although I don't know. That's actually a good point. Did he? What if Megatron ripped out his voice box again?
Yikes!
Twice. What if it happened twice? Oh jeez.
Poor Bumblebee.
Imagine
in that
it.
Case.
Granted, I do want to bring up a thing regarding one other thing regarding the discussion about the end of Megatron as My Hero.
Okay.
There is definitely room for Bumblebee's mental trauma to surface again in another episode. Because when Windblade first attempts to interface with Bumblebee's mind, the only thing she can see in the memories is Megatron's face.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I'm confused.
The first episode, when Windblade first tries to go inside Bumblebee's head,
Yeah.
she's just doing a straight up coracle psychic patch between the two heads.
Yeah.
She's trying to look through all of the memories. All of them are blank except a large image of Megatron that slowly consumes her. And then,
Oh, I forgot about that.
yeah,
I wonder if that's his most recent memory.
yeah. Or if it's the most prominent. Because, again, trauma. There is room for trauma to show up later on. Which, there's a lot of things that, like, have been lightly touched upon, that there's definitely room for them to go back to and fill out more. Like, if they don't do anything with Deadlock, then they were planning for like season 4 and they don't get to it. But why would?
I mean, it may have just been like a nod, but I
Yeah.
really hope it's not just that. Like, I hope that he actually gets an arc, especially because Drift has just become this juggernaut of a character out of nowhere very fast.
I would love, because here's the thing. This is going partly into my hopes. I hope we continue to go inside Bumblebee's memories. Since the loss of the ship and the introduction of Teletran X and Grimlock into the series as part of the main cast, that part has not been substantial.
I think we'll get back to it. I think that just got busy because they were building up to the finale.
No, yeah, and agreed. But there is a fuller cast now, so I'm just curious how the episodes will be crafted to allow for that to be sensible. That's what I'm curious about. I'm sure they'll do it. I'm just curious.
I'm guessing it'll be similar to how it was on Cybertron in the flashbacks.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I'm also very curious to see how they handle the massive cast, because they've gone from like there's two Autobots to 3.5, 4. To now there's like 4,000 potentially.
There's room for a lot.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also just Rack and Ruin.
I would highly doubt that you'll get any more of that. I think that was a cameo, and I think that's honestly the most you can ask for.
I mean, Rack and Ruin did in fact appear on with the other Autobots at the end of the thing.
I mean, wait, you're talking about the Ark?
Yes, like he appeared when the Autobots are ready to charge at the Decepticons.
Oh, really? I didn't remember that.
He's in the background.
Yeah, I know. I figured, but I didn't remember that. Huh?
But yeah, he's there, and again, and Jeremy Levy's voicing him. So I would be surprised if they didn't utilize him to some extent, because Rack and Ruin, just overall, is just an odd choice.
Forget Rack and Ruin. I want Diaclone Ironhide to make some more appearances.
We haven't gotten Ironhide yet. That surprises me.
Really? I thought we saw him on the Ark briefly.
No.
Huh.
No. I think when Ironhide appears, he's going to be based on, if not a modified version of the generic Autobot Trooper design.
I think he's gonna. So the Diaclone Ironhide, but red.
Potentially.
That's what I think he'll be.
With cannons, probably. Potentially.
I would guess not. I would love that. I don't think he will. You mean like mounted like the movies, or like he holds them?
I'd say mounted, but they're not always deployed.
I would guess not, but I would love that.
Yeah. It feels like it's just become a thing for Ironhide.
But has it though? It's only been just on one toy. In Japan.
Well, animated would have leaned into that a lot, and that probably would have made it a mainstay more. But then season 4 got gutted.
Yeah.
They wanted to go there, and I'm certain if they did, it would have happened a lot more. Sorry, side tangent, because I was thinking of this the other day. If season 4 of Animated happened, imagine how many more Shattered Glass toys or Shattered Glass based recolors of toys would have happened.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I want to say. But what was my point? Oh yeah, Rack and Ruin. It's just odd because everyone else is pretty solid G1, and like Rack and Ruin is a G1 character, but like he's in a cartoon before friggin' Impactor.
I know, that kind of blows my mind.
That surprises me so much. So I wouldn't be So, like, I don't think he's going to be a super major focus, but I would be surprised if there's not an episode that looks back on something he did or focuses on him.
Oh, I think he's still going to be background. I think that's the most you can expect from the character. Who knows? I'm very curious to see which one of us is right, because I sure wouldn't complain if we got a Rack and Ruin episode, or, like, seeing more of him, but I kind of doubt it, just because, like, I think it's, like, all the other references we're getting, where it's, like, it's not a big deal, it's just, like, it's there.
Yeah.
To appreciate.
Well, that's a big deal, because, like, friggin' two-headed Autobot is there. Also, I think, if I remember correctly,
I want an appearance of Sprinkleberry Donut.
Oh, there was a specific Randolph Hurd, one of the writers, was asked if Rack and Ruin was a science experiment by Shockwave.
He said yes.
But
right?
No. He confirmed that they were sparked as conjoined twins, but Shockwave's two-headed seeker creation
replicate
was inspired by Rack and Ruin.
Yeah, never mind. I remember seeing that. I was gonna say I saw that. No, yeah, Shockwave didn't make him. Shockwave was trying to recreate him. That's right.
Yeah. So if they have that point considered, then they might have a plan or two to use Rack and Ruin in something. And again, and I think this kind of ties into Acid Storm, because, like, that's also a very minor character, and, like, everyone was like, oh, it's just an animation error, but then someone was like, oh, that's intentional, and, like, okay, they're thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So there could be room for more.
Mm-hmm. Faux show.
Yeah. It should be
so. I'm hoping that. Hold on. Sorry. I'm hoping that they will. I don't know. I'm really open to see what they'll do. I'm really hoping that they address some of the looser threads, and I agree with pretty much everything you guys have been saying about what you want to see. At least in the broad strokes. So I don't think I have much else to add.
I have another thing to add.
Sure.
Bring Soundwave to Earth.
Oh, I think he will be. I bet he's coming.
Yeah.
I think all the Decepticons are coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, we haven't seen him. We've only saw him, like, 3 minor roles so far.
Yeah, sorry, but that doesn't matter compared to Megatron. I'm with you. I want Soundwave on Earth, but, like...
I agree. I
need answers on Megatron fast in Season 2.
Megatron is more important. Agreed. I just want to see more of Soundwave.
Oh, yeah, I totally want to see more of him, too.
I know we're going to see more of Wheeljack.
And I want to see Laserbeak, because his toy has Laserbeak.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
I would love to see more Decepticons. Like, also, I just want to shout out, because Jared predicted on Steel City Bots that by the end of the year we would get a name drop or something that Galvatron would be in the show. So I just want to point that out, that's Jared's hope. So maybe that could work into the Megatron thing. Who knows? But I would love to see Decepticons like Cyclonus, Scourge, or like Six Shot. Like, I would love to see other Decepticons we don't get to see on screen much.
Yeah.
Be on screen, since we're getting tons of just, like, revisiting characters. So yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So, do you guys have any other last things to say, like closing remarks, before we wrap up?
Well done. And Jeremy Levy's a cool dude.
Yes.
Yeah, I really liked this show. I think it has a lot of potential moving forward, and I liked mostly everything that I saw, and most of the critiques that I had were fairly minor. Yeah, so I think it works as a whole, though. So
yeah. So I think that's all we got to say for season 1 of Cyberverse, or chapter 1, as they're properly calling it. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. Like I said at the beginning, it's free on YouTube. So that's nice that it's very accessible. And if you have seen it, you should go watch it again because it's a very quick watch so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good show, definitely worth your time, whether you are a Transformers fan or not. And that is a great thing. So yeah, that's it for Cyberverse. So, social media, where can people find you, Alyssa?
You can find me on Twitter at The Rational Dove. Check out my new icon. It is the bird part of the new intro. So, yeah, I'm really happy about it. And
what's the name of that bird? Like SoundJack is the robot.
Yeah.
What's
Rationale.
Rationale. Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she's the rational dove.
Yeah, no, I got you. Huh. I dig that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, check me out there.
Yeah. Eric, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Eric Crowbar, at Amherst Prime on Instagram if that's your thing, and Eric Carnover on YouTube. Also, you can check out anything I do on Nerdy Geek Talk. That's my podcast network, which you're probably familiar with if you listen to these podcasts. Probably.
Oh.
So, subscribe to Nerdy Geek Talk on YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Go to anywhere you listen to podcasts, not YouTube, because I am having trouble posting podcasts on YouTube, and in all honesty, I don't like posting podcasts on YouTube. I like posting in the podcast places where it matters. So, there's that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't. No, that wasn't a jab at yours. I meant for mine, a podcast network. You're a channel that attracts people for other things, so you have
That's
people
fair.
coming there. Yeah, that's what I meant by that. That's not a jab at this show at all.
Okay.
I realized immediately after saying it, I was like, "Ooh, that sounded really mean towards this show." No, not at all.
How dare I invite you onto my show and you say such mean and terrible things? It's out.
No, I was gonna say Nerdy Geek Talk's a podcast network. Your YouTube channel is not a podcast network. It's a variety of things that brings people here. So
Yes. But as for me, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SoundJack426. Twitter is where I hang out, so come on by and say hi. Instagram is where I post photos of my toys, including a photo, if I can humble brag a little bit, that Hasbro official, that Transformers official contacted me and was like, "Hey, can we use your photo and official stuffs?" And I was like, "Okay." Slight humble brag there. But you should go check those photos out. And then, of course, you should subscribe to me here on YouTube and like, share, and comment the video if you enjoyed. And with that all being said, thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack, Alyssa. Oh, wait, Miguel. If Miguel's... because Miguel's
I
gonna...
thought Miguel was asleep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to still shout him out because go follow him on Twitter at Logos Minor. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. This is SoundJack, Alyssa, Eric, and the sleeping Miguel signing off.